just happened? All right, we are live, and I think something just happened over there with Colin. What happened?
His son came down in a robe. He's home from school sick, and he's just mosing on into the screen.
Oh my God, I wish we would have actually been live. Everybody missed out. Well, guys, I appreciate you joining us. I've got Chase Cromwell from San Diego, Colin Hill from Orange County, myself, and David Yaginian, both of which are here in Orange County. And wanted to just go ahead and bring us on. We each were with a traditional brokerage in the past. We each made the decision that where we were previously was not currently working for what we needed our businesses and our brokerage to provide us with. And kind of wanted to go through some of the common misconceptions about switching to a different brokerages, the different models that are out there, and a lot of the scare tactics and the narratives that are being put out there by traditional brokerages to make their agents fearful of moving and to prevent their agents from moving by using nothing other than scare tactics. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Colin. I think you have been over here with us at EXP. Oh, wait, who's been here the longest, Chase or Colin?
Colin.
So we're going to start with you, brother. So you've been with us. Man, it looks like I got horns. I'm really going to have to reposition this thing. Kind of tell us a little bit about what you experienced in the past, kind of what some of the reasons that had you looking to move brokerages in the first place.
Seeing if the grass is greener on the other side was kind of what started it. I'm a second generation, so I've got one parent who's been with RE/MAX like 25 years, and been with that the entire time, had a brokerage, her own franchise and everything. And then she's over the time consolidated, where I've got my other parent, dad, who's been in the business 40 years. He's been in 6 or 7 different brokerages that I know of. He's a broker associate, had his own franchise, multiple offices. So I had a little bit of knowledge, secondhand knowledge from what they had told me with their experiences at different brokerages. And then I wanted to as my volume started to increase, I started to have recruiters reach out to me, offer me different, hey, let's meet, sit down, and kind of go over. And it all seemed to really come down to similar kind of styles of, hey, no real added value. They would just say, here's a fixed fee or split or whatever. And there was no growth. And then I started looking into unique brokerages like EXP, Real, Side, and Keller Williams, and exploring kind of what they had with the cap. And then I crunched the numbers and wanted to see, okay, if I saved money by not paying out a traditional brokerage, could I reinvest it in myself? And I mean, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's kind of one of the things we had when we came over. Everybody that I knew and trusted that had a big successful business and treated their real estate career like an actual business, slowly but surely, everybody who I respected, everybody who I trusted, one by one started fleeing their brokerages and started moving towards EXP or the other new models that were out there. For us, most of them were all EXP, and it was like, all right, well, if these guys are onto something, what am I missing and what am I not seeing? And that was one of the things that I appreciated about you when you came over and joined and partnered with us, was you go through everything with a fine-tooth comb, every detail, every nuance, and the stuff that honestly made me feel like an idiot because I never asked. I was just like, cool, I'm going to make the switch and we're going to go with it. You went through that stuff with a fine-tooth comb, really did your due diligence, and ultimately ended up landing over here. What has been your experience? Because I think one of the things that people are most scared of when people say EXP, like, oh, they're a recruiting company. And we know once we're here that 1,000% is not what the value of this company is, nor what is provided. But what has your experience been since joining?
I mean, I get recruited. I would say actually of all the brokerages out there, EXP is the one that I've been recruited to in a sense the least. I mean, I still get calls by people that haven't done it, but I mean, I get more calls for other brokerages trying to recruit me. I mean, it's the name of the game. That's how a traditional brokerage works. They recruit a producer, bring them over to their office, and then siphon them just taking everything they can.
Yeah.
So you're going to experience it in every aspect. The nice thing about EXP, especially our group, was we don't even mention recruiting.
Yeah.
The Monday mastermind we sat in just to kind of explore was all about just how to make your business grow. I have a lot of friends colleagues that have switched over. Just one switched over to Coldwell Banker, and her thing was she wanted to be around people that are doing hundreds of millions. And she was part of the Laguna Niguel office, I think, and talks with Tim Smith. So they've got some big producers over there, but there's only 2 or 3 of them. We have hundreds of them, and it's just a night and day. I'll never forget at my last brokerage, we were doing a panel for some top producers in Orange County. And, oh, what are you doing to grow your business? And it was beating around the bush. Everyone was up there. They're like, oh, well, I do an open house every weekend, or we do lead generation. We have a CRM that does it. Well, what CRM do you guys use? Oh, I mean, and that I was so appalled. I mean, we're supposed to be all in the same family and just helping grow a brokerage together to be more successful. And that wasn't the case. And then
I know exactly what you're talking about. Chase and I used to do them together, and they would get us on a panel, and they'd be like, oh, what do you do? Online lead generation. He was social media. And they'd be like, what do you do? Oh, we got to post consistently. And then they just skip and move on to the next person. And it's like, dude, give people a minute to actually like give actionable items that help them grow their business. And that's never what it was about. It was about creating a brand. It was about making the brand seem bigger than it was. It never was focused around the actual agent themselves. It was always on the brand, and it was always on what they would bring. And the reality of it is, and look, I loved my own brokerage. I loved the people that were in it, but I needed something that was going to actually help me and show me how to grow. I needed to have somebody who was going to give me the step-by-step actionable items. How did you create exactly what you've built, and show me how to do it? And that's what was provided here. Chase, I know you've kind of had a similar experience since joining.
Yeah, my transfer was a little bit different than I would say most people's. I kind of feel like my business is like built off camaraderie, competition. It's kind of where I'm at heart. So the office that I was at the traditional brokerage, there were some heavy hitters in San Diego that I worked with, and when I started my career, that was great because it got me to their level. Being around them all the time got me to their level, and over time, it's like a fish can only grow as big as the tank is, right? So oftentimes I'd go back to the brokerage and I was just like, hey, I kind of feel maxed out here. I've exceeded my own expectations on where this business could go. And I've been chasing people down that I thought I would never get to their level. And, at certain times a year, I would pass by them. And so I was like, we should start masterminding with other people within the company. And there's other people in our company that do double the business than our highest producer in the office was. And no matter how much pressure I put, I couldn't get it done. So for me, it wasn't like I didn't make my change based off of hate for the brokerage. It was camaraderie. It was just, like Colton said, the people who I surrounded myself with. So I sat down on a mastermind meeting on a Monday, and I knew I had a few familiar faces in there. And it was shocking to see how much information that I learned. But on top of that, I had reached out to a couple of agents that were in the mastermind that I knew. And then from there, I started to realize even more how much like tighter the camaraderie was within EXP than I even had in my own office. I was calling people that it was no benefit to learn or for them to give me information. And they were just spilling and pouring out into me. And I'm like, this is what I've been asking from my brokerage. Like, this is what I want. You know what I mean? And honestly, it wasn't money. And I was spending 150 grand a year at my brokerage, a lot of money. I'm a high producing solo agent. I don't run teams. I do have a few agents that I mentor underneath me, but we don't do things the same as Colton or Kyle or Dan Beer. I focus on myself with building a micro team underneath me, and then a couple agents that will also run around. We have a much lower population than Irvine, and I'm in the mountains of East San Diego, so we have less inventory. But with that being said, money wasn't even something that crossed my mind. The brokerage that I worked for kept saying, hey, we will give you this, or how about we do this, or how about you lead the mastermind? And I'm like, I can't lead the mastermind. What do I have to offer? I need somebody better than me to teach me. You know what I mean? So once I came over, I made the decision to came over. It was absolutely a huge game changer. I then started noticing and realizing how much money I was saving per transaction, which has allowed me to naturally grow my team and adding admins and adding ISAs and adding a showing partner, because I could afford them now within my other marketing budgets that I was already spending at my old company. So it was kind of like oh, okay, here we go type of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
well, and that's one of those uncalculated, like when you're making the switch, it's one of those uncalculated benefits. And I think it's one of the things that I personally did wrong, was not calculating, one, how much loss in production am I having by not being able to reinvest this back in the business? And Colin, you said the same thing. What it gives you the ability to reinvest and create more revenue for your company, whether you're a big team, you're a solo agent, you've got a team of a couple agents, regardless of what it is, the brokerage model has changed. And the model that was available to us previously always worked, and it worked great for me my entire career, and I was really happy with it. And I was really, really reluctant to make any switches because I was so comfortable. And I loved the people and the camaraderie. And David, we were together at a previous brokerage, and he was, I think, one of the biggest skeptics when we were switching over. And he's like, no, don't leave. And again, it's because we had the brotherhood that we had the culture that we had, and we loved the people. Like, and it was hard for us to leave. I'll never forget the day I had to come give him a big hug goodbye. Dude, I was in tears. I mean, it was hard for us. But as time progressed and as we came over and we were starting to see a lot of growth, it was just different. And David, kind of tell me what your experience has been since, what you expected when you came over and then what your eyes were open to when you did.
Yeah. So, obviously my story is a little bit different than you guys, because I've been out of, active production for a little bit of time. But it was a situation where obviously Colton, a brother, one of my best friends, somebody that we've kind of taken this path and we've been in and out of each other's, surroundings as far as the business piece is concerned. We've always remained incredibly close friends. But it was one of those things where, there was an opportunity for me to partner with one of my best friends and build something together. And, again, like Colton said, it's absolutely nothing. I have nothing negative about the previous company. I love the people. I love the company. I love the brokerage. It was just one of those things where I saw an opportunity for us to build something together. And that was very exciting for me. It was something new, something different. And then the more I really started to meet the people and sit in on the masterminds and really understand like how next level some of this stuff is that these guys are rolling out, and the way they're implementing things and the way they're growing their businesses. And, to me, that was like, oh my gosh, there's so many incredible opportunities here to, not only build this team that we are building, but also continue to scale and grow each and every year and double our production. So the more I started seeing, like, interacting with all these people, I mean, Colton and I, we were just at the mastermind last week or the weekend before in San Diego. And just to hear these people who are doing thousands of deals a year, and they will give you everything that they have. And I was just like blown away by not only the generosity of all of these people, but also how collaborative they are and how supportive they are of each other. So, to me, it's been a fun ride. It's been a great beginning, and I'm super excited for where we're going to go and how big we're going to grow this thing. So
I want to clarify too, because we hear people say it, and I used to say the same thing. I was like, all right, masterminds. Yeah, we all have masterminds, and it's like, no, this is different.
Right.
This is top producing agents from all over the entire country. When I say top producing agents, we've got solos, we've got teams, we've got mega teams, we've got micro teams, we've got every type of agent spanning the entire industry all over the country who are selling. We have people in our group that are going to hit $2 billion in sales this year. So we're talking massive organizations, massive success. And we're not talking to mastermind. We're like, yeah, we like to be consistent, or I do online lead generation, or, I'm a door knocker. Like, they go through and actually give you an entire plan. I needed something that was going to require an attorney to be drafted. And somebody in the group was like, dude, I just had this done. I had to pay 15 grand for this agreement. Here you go. Just copy paste it. And it was like, whoa, what? Like, so again, when we talk about the uncalculated benefits that have resulted from this collaboration, that other models will never have the ability to duplicate because there's no incentive. So EXP is a recruiting company. EXP creates partners. Colin, Chase, David, myself, everybody within our group, we talk countless times per week, collaborating with one another, helping each other grow their businesses. Like, you create a partnership, and it's because we are mutually aligned and benefited through rev share, which is the model that they created, but it's what incentivizes the level of collaboration that we have at the level we have it. They are giving entire business plans, structures, operations, everything, pay structures, compensation.
Let me be clear about that too. I did not join this company under a sponsorship of Colton. My sponsorship's somewhere else. And when I have questions, I can call Colton. I can ask him for templates or to see his online university or what training. I use his coach now. So he has zero incentive to give me these answers to these questions that I have, but he's there when I need him. And that's like true camaraderie. That's what I'm talking about. Like, they don't owe me anything and they're still there to give it to me. And in a timely manner. That's the thing. It's like, I don't have to pay for it. So
that's one of the big misconceptions. Is like, oh, well, it's all about upline and you got to have the right people. It's like, no, everybody in this company understands that by providing and making as many deposits with each other as we do in each other's businesses, the value of the company as a whole rises. And Colin, I know you've been taking advantage, and that's a big difference. It's like, all right, there's people, it's offered to everybody. And in our group, the Fast Forward movement, we share everything, regardless of if there's an incentive or if there isn't, we share. And Colin is one of these people, and so is Chase and David and myself, who take advantage of the network. If you show up and you don't take advantage of the people and the quality of the people and the caliber of the people that you can then take information from and implement it into your business, you'll see no growth and you'll fall flat on your face to stay where you're at. However, there's the people that actually do, and Colin, I can tell you're about to say something, but you're shocked when you see the level that they deliver you this collaboration and the information that they give.
Yeah, I was just kind of going to piggyback off what Chase was saying. I mean, you're not part of his downline or Colton, the relationship, but it's not just because Colton's a nice guy and wants to do it. Everyone in our group has the same mentality. Like, Monday we start a topic and they start going and people are like, oh, do you have a PDF for a script or something? We typically have 400 people in it or something like that. And you'll have just all of a sudden just links, sharing. It's just,
you don't have to rebuild anything.
It's a whole new level. Like I said, I've grown up in this business and I've seen different brokerages and how they produce, what they're doing. And this is just something on a whole new level that it gets you excited. Like,
well, that's what Chase was saying with the being the little fish in the big pond. And I know so many agents' egos love to be the big fish in the tiny little pond. But when we used to get asked to speak, I'd be embarrassed. I'm like, dude, if I'm the one that you guys are using to speak at this, that's a problem. Like, the caliber of agents now that we're with and the level of productions that they're at, like, that's something to aspire towards.
Well, I'm going to say something that you said earlier, Colton. And a lot of times I think this happens to everybody. We fall into a comfort zone. And comfort is actually, now with social media, you can see everybody talks about comfort being the freaking devil. Like, it's your worst enemy. Honestly, when you get too comfortable with something, there's no room to grow. You've already hit the ceiling. So I've had conversations with agents that I've worked with, and they're like, no, I'm really happy with where I'm at. Well, what makes you happy? Well, I've been here for a long time and my brokerage is great. They take good care of me. Dude, I know they do. Of course they do. You're making them a killing. They're going to take as good care of you as they possibly can until you realize or wake up that your comfort meant shit to them. You know what I mean?
I'm going to correct you on that. They care when you're ready to leave. Yeah. And that's when they care. Otherwise, you don't hear a word from them. And that's just
dude. And I fell in comfort before I made that move. I was like, I was so comfortable. Whereas I had an office overlooking a stadium. I had free print, and then everything that came to my mind when I was about to make the change. I remember it took me like, honestly, probably 3 months to change. Kyle Whistle was talking to me for like 3 months. Hey, what are you going to do? What are we doing? And I was like, I don't know, dude. I have it so good over here. It costs me a lot of money, but the reason why I was like, oh, it's not that much money. I was thinking like, oh, it's $1,000 here on a paycheck, $3,000 here, $4,000 there. And it's not like I saw the $10,000 to $20,000 a month in a big scheme of things. Cause now what I do with $10,000 and $20,000 a month is I bought an office. So now I own commercial real estate, which is now an investment for myself in the future. I have admins, I have other partners, and that $20,000 has now loosened up and has been able to be allocated back into my business. And we haven't even talked about like rev share of the business. I don't even look at that or take that into consideration on anything.
None of us do. And that's the part that they try to tell you. That's all they care about is rev share. It's like, dude, it's the collaboration that model has allowed for and has been the launching pad for the growth that this company and the agents have had. Like, what allows it, and it's why other people and other brokerages won't be able to do it, because they can't pivot, because it's kind of the Blockbuster and the Netflix world. They got overhead and bills to pay.
Yeah, and when I came over and I talked to you, one of the things you said is like, dude, it's going to be an overload of information. But the good thing is you're going to take one good thing from every best hitter in the entire country and make your own. You're not going to copy somebody. You're still you. I'm still Chase Cromwell. I still have my own reputation. You're Colton. Your team has your still, you know what I mean? You're getting like free lessons or reminders of how to do things right.
It's like you're trying to learn how to invest in stocks and you've got Warren Buffett on a group text.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine the access that gives you. Yeah. Paul, and I know you.
I love your buyer guide, by the way, Chase. So clean. Really, really nice.
Yeah.
My what?
Your buyer guide.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Chase, you said something on here, and it's funny because I'm the guy that I used to hate with daily affirmations and that type of thing. And one of the very first ones is, I seek out discomfort because I know that's where growth occurs. And it's like the moment I become comfortable, it's because I know our growth is slowing. And it's because I'm not pushing myself. I'm not creating a compelling future. Like, if I ever become comfortable, it's when I've stopped taking steps toward a future that I'm going to be proud of. So that discomfort makes me comfortable because I know I'm heading in the right direction with it.
100%.
Colin, did you have anything else?
Another cool aspect is just like the freedom. I mean, in a traditional brokerage, you're coming in, you're pretty much an agent. That's kind of your job. And my wife, she got her license and she was coming on. That was the long-term goal, was to create a partnership. We've got our newborn and she's done real estate in the past before, and we renewed the license and got active. But really, like, her passion is operations. And so she's taking care of the operation side. I mean, and she's awesome because I have no skill whatsoever. But I mean, if we were at a traditional brokerage, she'd be doing real estate and stuff, and maybe some of the operation side, but we wouldn't have the potential to grow at a much bigger long-term level. And she wouldn't really have as much. She has a lot of passion for operations, and she really does. And it's just, so I think we'd hit that comfort zone. That you guys.
That's how every phone call with Colin goes, by the way.
Pretty much. I'm surprised Chase is. I mean, he's got like 12 kids or something, and
he's in a dungeon. Look at him.
I don't hear your kids talking, dude.
You don't hear the street?
I know he's got that big, beautiful house over there in San Diego, but he's taking this from a dungeon.
Yeah, I'm in a jail cell.
Yeah, what are they letting you out, bro?
It's just, there's just so many different things you can do with the freedom of the company, which is what I thought was just super cool.
Traditional brokerages want you to sell real estate and keep chasing each transaction. Since we have been here, we've created a business where we're not chasing transactions anymore. We're building a business that doesn't require us to be on the treadmill every day, chasing our next deal. It's like, dude, now they always wanted you to keep ancillary services in-house, and I get it, because it's profitable. But now we have a brokerage that's pushing us to buy our own mortgage company, buy your own title company, buy your own escrow company. So you can actually create a real estate empire that they have, but it just have just run it unsuccessfully, unfortunately. And it's like, dude, it's just a shift in mindset to where you stop having to be on a freaking treadmill every single day running towards your next check, and you start building something that's actually going to be a sustainable model for more than just you, for more than just like our family, something that lasts into the future. And that's something that we did not have prior to being and surrounded with the people that were.
I think, Joe, I want to touch base on that, because what you said is pretty extravagant. Building a team that big takes a different creature, and it's okay to come over to a company like this and not have to grow a huge team, but just know that you're going to have all the tools to be the best of who you are as an agent, period, if that's who you choose to be.
Yep.
You know, you have the opportunity to learn and scale and grow and get out of that go from a fish tank to the ocean. But also, I mean, if you want to be a top producer in your area, you're going to learn from the best who did it. They started doing that first. Yeah. And then maybe over time you grow into saying, okay, no, I do now see and understand why these guys run teams. And now I'm going to be a team leader.
Yeah.
But
that's an important distinction to make.
Yeah.
Because I think people.
Yeah. You don't have to come over and say, oh, I have to build a team because that's what everybody else is doing. No, take your time.
Everybody has their own trajectory. Everybody has their own growth path. Everybody has their own, their own time frames and their own schedules and the flexibility within their schedules. But the nice thing is that, this company allows you to scale as large as you want to scale, because the support and the collaboration is there with people that have already done it. If you didn't want to be on a team and you just wanted to be just with the brokerage, you have everything available to you online. You have all the support and the access. But if you wanted to also build, there's literally no limit to how large you can build it, because there's people around us that have done it and will provide that support. So there's that flexibility as well.
I think David hit it right on the head. Like, you don't come over to EXP and they're like, okay, you have to start building a mega team. You can just be that solo agent and be your local top producer. But the benefits of not having to pay out on a normal structure is just, the ROI in itself is just phenomenal. I could never have to recruit. No one's ever told me to recruit. No one's ever told me I need to get to, Michelle and I could just maintain what we're doing till the day we die, but we'd still would save so much more money and use it for other things. That's just
Dude, if I put 2 paychecks together from last year to this year, you'd be like, all right, I'm out of here.
And that's the whole thing. It's like, dude, there's nothing wrong with anybody else, but if I'm making an investment, and my investment in my brokerage is an investment, the company dollar that you spend, it's an investment. And it's like, all right, show me what the ROI is. And if they say office space, get the fuck out of there. Because that's not an ROI. We've got our own office, and we're still saving a fortune, and we're able to reinvest it back into our business.
I had a deposit in my account last week that I didn't know about for $500, and it was from EXP. I'm like, I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? I would have never got that. So $500. I mean, shit. And I'm still going to town. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate us all getting together. I've loved partnering with you guys on this. It has been an absolute blast. I'm excited to see everybody's continued growth. It feels like each quarter we look at each other's businesses and everything's been flipped upside down, reinvented, improved upon, growth aimed towards, and it's a pretty damn cool to be a part of. So I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to the future with you.
Love you, boys.
Talk to you later.
All right, guys.
Bye.